Upfront Books presents The Complete Low-FODMAP Diet, a revolutionary plan for managing IBS and other digestive disorders, written by Sue Shepard, Ph.D., and Peter Gibson, M.D., and narrated by Audrey Cannon. With your purchase of this audiobook, you've received a downloadable PDF cookbook and meal planner containing several important tables with information on low-FODMAP foods, a few weekly menu plans, and a wide variety of low-FODMAP suitable recipes. Feel free to pause the audiobook now and visit upfrontbooks.com/FODMAP to download the PDF. Foreword by Dr. William D. Shea, M.D. During my medical training in gastroenterology at the University of Michigan from 1990 to 1993, I learned about irritable bowel syndrome, or IBS, a common condition defined by the presence of symptoms including abdominal pain or discomfort, bloating, and altered bowel habits. I was struck by research reporting that roughly 1 in 10 people suffered from symptoms of IBS and that it was one of the most common causes of work absenteeism. As I gained experience caring for patients with IBS, the level of suffering they endured became more and more apparent. Despite evidence that up to 2/3 of IBS sufferers associated eating a meal with onset or aggravation of their IBS symptoms, the prevailing wisdom at that time was that food played little role in IBS. Rather, most doctors believed that IBS was caused by abnormal activity and sensitivity in the gastrointestinal (GI) tract, with significant contributions from psychological factors like depression and anxiety. At the time of my training, doctors received little to no formal training in the role of diet and nutrition in the management of gastrointestinal disorders such as IBS. We routinely told patients to eat smaller meals, reduce intake of fatty or greasy foods, and eat more fiber. These recommendations were the standard of care for IBS sufferers well into the new century. Unfortunately, both patients and physicians have grown increasingly frustrated with the inconsistent results yielded by these recommendations. Despite this, little has changed in regards to physicians' training in nutrition and diet. The difficulties in obtaining helpful dietary advice from physicians and other medical providers and the growing interest in more holistic approaches to the management of IBS have led many patients to take matters into their own hands, self-imposing highly restrictive and potentially dangerous diets. A number of exclusion diets for IBS have received attention over the years, but very few have been based upon a clear scientific rationale or found to be effective in high-quality clinical research studies. The low-FODMAP diet has managed to break this mold, and in doing so is gradually changing the way that patients and physicians view the role of diet in the management of IBS. I remember first reading about fermentable oligosaccharides, disaccharides, monosaccharides, and polyols, or FODMAPs, in a research paper published by Sue Shepard and Peter Gibson in 2005. I was intrigued by the FODMAP concept because it made scientific and practical sense. I am quite proud to say that the University of Michigan was one of the first major U.S. medical centers to adopt the low-FODMAP diet as a routine part of treating our patients with IBS. Initial discussions with our physicians and dietitians were typically met with palpable skepticism, with comments such as, "It's way too restrictive," "It's too complicated," "Patients will never do it," "It's just another fad diet," and "I don't believe it will work." However, as patients returned with story after story of remarkable improvement, this skepticism was quickly replaced by enthusiasm and praise. Concurrent with the gradual adoption of the low-FODMAP approach has been a dramatic shift in the behavior of our providers from viewing the low-FODMAP diet as a rescue strategy intended only for those that had failed all other therapies to now viewing the diet as an evidence-based first-line treatment strategy. I have no doubt that patients and medical providers will benefit from the easy-to-understand, practical information provided in the Complete Low-FODMAP Diet. The availability of this useful resource will help affected patients and interested medical providers to better understand and incorporate the low
Sample complete. Ready to continue?